Hey, what's up, everybody? Gold and silver, the precious metal prices are on the move. The dollar is on the move. And Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, made a move yesterday, a quite interesting one. I did a video about it the day before he was set to announce what his next plans were going to be for the federal funds interest rate. I did a video about that on September the 17th. He made that decision, or he made that announcement of that decision on September the 18th, which was yesterday from the recording of this video. I don't think it was a great surprise that he cut interest rates by 50 basis points. On the video that I published on September the 17th, according to the FedWatch tool at that time, and the FedWatch tool, I referenced the FedWatch, the CME Group FedWatch tool quite often when I discuss the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, and his moves in regards to the interest rates. I often reference the CME Group FedWatch tool, and it usually is pretty accurate about the day, maybe a couple of days prior to that announcement. And the CME Group FedWatch tool did say that the greatest possibility of what he was going to do on September the 18th was cut interest rates by 50 basis points, and that's exactly what he did. Now, why did he do that? I listened to the entire press conference, including the Q&A, like I always do. So I will be getting into that on this video today, plus the gold, silver, the precious metals, spot prices, and what is the dollar doing today. We're going to cover all of that on this video. Please consider hitting that thumbs up on the video and let me know your thoughts, your opinions in that comment section below. In the comment section of the video that I published a couple days ago, I did ask everybody to let me know your thoughts in the comment section of that video about which way do you think Jerome Powell was going to go, either cut interest rates by 25 basis points or 50 basis points, and pretty much everybody was split between the two, and so were the experts. Some of the so-called experts thought he was going to cut by 25, and others thought that he was going to cut by 50, and absolutely he did cut by 50 basis points. And the reason for cutting by 50 basis points, now Jerome Powell, like I said, I listened to pretty much all of his press conferences, and ever since he started increasing interest rates back in March of 2022, he always says that he wants to get inflation, the rate of inflation going forward, back down to their 2% goal. But he also says they have a dual mandate, which is getting inflation back down to 2%, or restoring price stability and maximum employment. However, also in his prior press conferences, he also said they need to see some softening of the labor market. So in my opinion, that's kind of talking out of both sides of his mouth by saying maximum employment, but we also need softening of the labor market, which in my opinion means jobs being lost, either people losing jobs that they currently have, or recs or job openings being taken away by employers. According to a CNBC article from September the 11th, 2024, per the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the 12-month inflation rate when the CPI data was released was at 2.5%. The 12-month inflation rate at 2.5%, down 0.4 percentage point from July level, slightly below the estimate of 2.6%, and that was the lowest level in 3.5 years. However, the core CPI, which includes volatile food and energy prices, increased by 0.3% for the month, slightly higher than the 0.2% estimate. The 12-month core inflation rate held at 3.2% in line with the forecasts. Now, the last time I checked, 2.5% and 3.2% is not 2%. So why start cutting interest rates now, especially going more aggressive by cutting 50 basis points versus 25 basis points, especially since the rate of inflation, which he's been talking about for the last 2 years, getting it down to that 2% goal? Well, that goes to the other side of that dual mandate, and unemployment is too high. Even though I said it before, I'll say it again, and he said it a lot in his press conferences that I was listening to over the last couple of years about softening of the labor market. However, it seems like, and this is just how I interpret what Jerome Powell says, and it seems like unemployment, too many people are losing their jobs. Unemployment is too high. Companies, again, in my opinion, especially small businesses, cannot survive. Many of them cannot survive and have a lot of people employed, enough people employed with a high interest rate environment, and many people are on the unemployment line. So in my opinion, that's the reason why he went more aggressive by cutting by 50 basis points instead of cutting by 25 basis points. And Jerome Powell pretty much said that at his press conference, not in so many words. He's not going to just come out and say, because of the fact that we raised interest rates so much and kept them elevated for about the last 2 years, that because of that, unemployment is too high. Too many people are losing their jobs. And to offset the risk of double-digit unemployment, well, we have to be a little bit more aggressive cutting interest rates even before the rate of inflation comes back down to that 2% goal. And again, this is just my interpretation, my opinion, what I took from that press conference based on what Jerome Powell said. I would highly encourage everybody to listen to that press conference for yourself and take from it what you will. As always, nothing in this video or any of my videos is financial advice. Please do your own research, your own due diligence, and come to your own conclusions. The unemployment rate, according to a CNBC article from September the 6th, 2024, and the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, is 4.2. It says the unemployment rate ticked down to 4.2%. As expected, the labor force expanded by 120,000 jobs for the month, helping push the jobless level down by 0.1 percentage point, though the labor force participation rate held at 62.7%. An alternative measure that includes discouraged workers, so people who were looking for jobs but gave up because they weren't able to find a job, maybe a job that met their criteria or was a high enough paying job. But anyway, discouraged workers and those holding part-time jobs for economic reasons edged up to 7.9%, its highest reading since October 2021. And that's my own interpretation for discouraged workers, is workers who gave up looking for jobs. And that's the discrepancy, in my opinion, between the 4.2% unemployment rate and the 7.9% unemployment rate. And also that 7.9% number, which could be higher than that, but it says 7.9%, which I believe is the real reason why Jerome Powell was forced to cut a little bit more aggressive than maybe he wanted to, is because of the high unemployment number. The article goes on to say, while the August numbers were close to expectations, The previous 2 months saw substantial downward revisions. The BLS cut July totals by 25,000, while June fell to 118,000, a downward revision of 61,000. And this next part is a quote, and the last part of this article that I will reference, but this is a quote from Dan North, senior economist for North America at Allianz. He says, I don't like this a whole lot. It's not a disaster. Let me pause right there just for a moment, because in my opinion, almost double-digit unemployment, real unemployment, and maybe it's even in the double digits. I don't know, but possibly it is in the double digits. He says it's not a disaster. I think even if it's close to double-digit unemployment, in my opinion, is a disaster, but I digress. But he goes on to say, but it is below expectations on the headline. And what really bothers me is the revisions. And now, every time the government, more times than not, when the government puts out data, there's always revisions. Revisions, usually downward revisions from the more positive outlook, and then they revise them down. And then he says, this is certainly going the wrong way, and I would absolutely agree with that. Unemployment is going the wrong way. It's too high, in my opinion, and I think that's why Jerome Powell was forced to cut by 50 basis points, but that's just my opinion. Before we get to the current prices of the precious metals, the prices of gold and silver, and then ending this video, what is the US dollar doing? How's the US dollar performing? The DXY index. The dollar is slightly stronger today as I'm recording this video, but it is down quite a bit from about 3 months ago, where it was hovering around 104, 103, 105. But then I see a steep decline down to where it is today at 100.69. Up a little bit today, but it is down from where the dollar is down from where it was just yesterday prior to the announcement of the interest rates. Yesterday, prior to that announcement, it was about 101.03, and right now it is showing up 0.09 or 0.09% at 100.69. So a little bit troubling, in my opinion, for the dollar. If we get below 100, that's not so good, in my opinion. So that is where the dollar, the DXY index is currently at. As for the precious metals, silver is up quite a bit. In fact, silver is, as of right now, as of the recording of this video, as I'm speaking to you, silver is the top mover of the day, currently up 3.40%, or up $1.02 to $31.16. Gold is up 1.21%, or up $31 to $2,590.20. Platinum is up 2.07%, up $20 to $998. And palladium is up close to the percentage points of silver, but palladium is up 3.28%, or up $34 to $1,112. And rhodium is up a little bit more than 2%, up $100 to $5,075. And if you're still here, I do appreciate everybody for taking time out of your day to watch this video. I do hope you found this video enjoyable, entertaining, and informative. If you did, please consider hitting that thumbs up button on the video, hit that like button on this video. Let me know any thoughts, opinions you may have in that comment section below. Again, everything that I spoke about on this video about Jerome Powell's press conference was my interpretation of what he said. I would highly encourage everybody to listen to that press conference for yourself. Please do your own research, your own due diligence, come to your own conclusions. If you're still here, thanks everybody for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and I'll talk to everybody on my next video. Thanks everyone.